Calon FM on 105 FM, uniting our community.
We put like people on roofs, and we put quite a lot of people on roofs. I think that was to do. I don't know. You can tell a lot about, I suppose, the state of a person's mind by, well, it's not necessarily the state of the sculpture's mind, I suppose, of how it's positioned on the roof.
Yeah.
So with like the one on, when we did on Waterstones,
yeah,
it's a guy sitting down. So straight away, that doesn't give the, I suppose, the connotation of that it's someone that's going to kill himself.
Right. Yes.
It's someone. Oh, then again, maybe it does. It gives them that sort of, they're sitting there and they're contemplating something.
Yeah.
And it's what could happen next. But when we did it, so there was a guy hanging onto the roof with both hands hanging over the side.
Yes.
That obviously gives it's an aspect of danger. It looks like he hasn't done that to himself. So it's the different reason why someone might want to help. You know, in the case when the guy holding on to the side of the building, do you know what I mean? That's a sort of an emergency of, quick, is someone going to help him? Which nobody did. Do you know what I mean? I think the fire crew turned up, and that's when we left. We were like, they might get in trouble here. But right. The same with the one on the other roof. People did seem more concerned about that one. And I think with the I suppose, the difference between the two, when it was hanging onto the roof, it was more of a crowd gathered and what's going to happen here? You know, is this guy going to fall? Are we going to see this guy fall? Because if it is, I don't want to miss it. I'll be going back late to work to see the end of this sort of thing.
Right, okay.
But when it was on the roof in Wetherspoons, it was Waterstones. It seemed a bit more, I suppose people were a bit more concerned, but maybe it looked a bit more sculptural at the end of the day. So they might not have thought it was a real person. But I have done other ones like it. It's like, we did, I saw some of them seem like pranks as well, because we put them in toilets and we've locked the toilet and climbed out over the top. So when people are going in at the end of the night to clean up, they think, oh, there's someone still in there, and they're knocking on the door and waiting for that person to come out, and they all know they're not answering and go over and it's just a pair of legs. I suppose. And the good thing, it works for different things each time, and I think a lot of the time it's been made first, and then you sort of see what happens after.
Yeah.
Without actually having the psychology.
You could, because there is almost like a case of you're creating a social your art is very much to get a response of which is not just like if you say people go together, oh, that's nice, that's sweet. Yours is actually to try to initiate some of a sort of action which they would do, whether it's to run and kick somebody. Whether it's like, oh no, I won't do anything, I'll walk away. It's more to find out what it's social experiment.
I think with especially with the sculpture side of it, it is more. Do you know the French term? I'm going to say this wrong now as well. Tromper l'œil means to like deceive the eye. So there's two types of tromper l'œil paint works anyway. There's the ones the sort of I do, and there's the ones that are sort of the elongated paintings that make it look like you're standing in a hole.
Yeah.
You always see them painting on the floor in places, and it only works from one angle.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that through Tromper l'œil is that with my sculptures, if you're looking at it from a certain angle, you're going to think that's a real person. And once you assume it's a real person, you automatically put, I suppose, human connotations onto them of like why they're there. Like with the guy in the bin, I mean, it was only a pair of legs. So if you'd seen it from the other side of the bin,
I did see it. That's exactly what happened.
A pair of legs.
Yeah, that's what.
But if you'd seen it from behind, you'll be walking up thinking that's a guy with his body in the bin.
Yeah.
So it's about deceiving the eye. It's I don't know. Should we draw a bit of art history?
It'd be interesting. This has never been done before.
There's these. So in like the old, God knows when it was, in like olden days Florence or whenever it was, there was a king, and he thought his painter was the best painter in the world and all this. So he's going to have a competition that my painter's the best painter, and nobody wanted to challenge him. And this other painter came over from nowhere and was like, "I'll challenge him. I'm a better painter than him." So they were like, "Oh, it's agreed, competition." So they both set about painting these two massive works, and then they got it in the town hall, and then they all gathered round to unveil it. And the new painter was there by his work, and they all going, "Let's see your work, and let's see your work if it's so good." And he was just like sitting there with his arms crossed. And they go, "No, come on, your work's so good." And he's like, "Oh, no, you'll be able to make your own mind up about my work. You'll be able to make up your own mind." And they were like, "Oh, well, we'll see the old painter's work first then."
Okay.
And he pulls back the curtain, and it says beautiful fruit bowl, and a bird flies down from a tree and goes straight into the painting. And everyone in the crowd's like, oh, he must be the best painter in the world. He's managed to fool that bird into thinking that painting
You're
is
right,
real.
okay, yeah.
And then so they all go to the new painter now. Go on, show us your work. See if it's better than this. And he just sat there. Oh, you'll see it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to put any pressure on you. Just look when you want to look and all this. They were like, no, show it us. So the king goes over to pull down the curtain and just rips the painting in half. And he managed to fool everyone into thinking that his painting was a curtain. Do you see what I mean? So he actually painted a curtain that managed to even fool the king and everyone else there into thinking he hadn't painted anything. See, that's what Trompe Louis is. That's
right,
the idea of it, is that you can... Fooling an animal isn't too hard. You know what I mean? Scarecrows fool animals. But if you can fool humans, that's like the... Actually, I mean, that's like as high as you can get in tricking somebody.
No,
Especially if you can
absolutely,
fool whole groups of humans at the same time. Might
Right,
be a bit
okay.
David Copperfield.
Yeah, right. So it's this thing you're just absolutely fascinated with. Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, well, it's something that came out when you, I suppose, doing research into stuff. You can get lost, especially once you start looking into existentialism and everything like that. You can get lost for days. And it's more, I suppose I just like, it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's certain things that stick with you. Like, you know, the Easter Island heads.
Right, yes, very much.
Big, everyone knows them, yeah? I was in the Art History Museum in London, and it's surrounded by these incredible works of art from all over the world. And everyone was going straight to the Easter Island heads, which aren't amazing. Do you know what I mean? They're quite blank, plain sort of heads. Do you know what I mean? Carved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're impressive in their own way, but they were nothing compared to the work around them. And people were going to that because they knew about it. And they could say, oh, I've watched this thing on the internet where they move like this, and that's how they were doing it on it. And because they're able to talk about it, they'll gravitate to that. And the people, I mean, they probably know bits about the other things around them, but when your concentration is, it's something that you know, so that's where you go to. It's like the Mona Lisa when people go see that. Most people don't even care about art, but it's like, oh, I've got to go see the Mona Lisa. So little things that are stuck in your mind
Right, okay.
sort of stay with you.
Yeah.
And because you've got that interest in it, I think.
Has anyone sort of wondered how that, if it was a real person, how did they get in the first place?
I mean, I suppose, how did he get in there? What's he looking for? I suppose the idea, if he's in there, it doesn't seem like he's been pushed it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like getting your head stuck in railings.
Yeah.
I think it seemed a bit more to do with he's obviously looking for food. It's that, and because he's waist deep in, he's obviously right at the bottom looking. And I think that was the sort of reaction when people would actually say to me that's what they sort of got, that he's actually in there looking for something.
Right.
I didn't get many people necessarily thinking that, you know, it's a body that someone's like tried to dispose of and only got halfway in and
Right,
gone,
okay.
oh, that'll do. They're never going to see his face. But yeah, I suppose that was the main reaction I got from people, is that it was a sort of homeless man looking for food,
Right.
rather than, you know, someone on a night out that's got stuck in a bin.
Yeah.
But I suppose it could go either way, though. But
No,
maybe
no.
I suppose that just all comes down to the view. Probably the younger you are, maybe you would think, oh, he's got his head stuck in a bin. But then as you're older and you sort of know that homeless people are hungry,
So they would go in and go that far.
looking for food, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much.
Calon FM on 105 FM, uniting our community.